Hi guys, I know it's been a while. We have had a couple adventures in the van, and I just want to give you an update on kind of how we decided to buy this van. I think a lot of people are interested in vans and RVs in general. You can really see the marketplace and how it's changed. Over the last year, I first got interested in RVing and wanting to RV and have a van probably about a year ago. And I started watching YouTube videos, which I'm sure a lot of you have done too. I didn't know a lot about it. Really was confused on what RV style was good for me. So I'm just gonna go through how we did it, how we looked at things, and kind of let you know what our process was. The process for everybody is gonna be completely different, but this is why we decided on a van, and we had a couple of vans in mind, and I just want to go over that with you, what vans, and I'll show you my little red book that I keep on different things that I wanted to research and what the features of the vans were, what the cost was, etc. So let's get started. Okay, the first thing I wanted to show you guys is how we decided the makes and models. Basically what we did was we just watched YouTube videos and decided slowly what models we liked. I call this my little red book because it is the things I've written down about what models we wanted, and really we narrowed it down to these 4 models. So the Solis 59PX was the first model. We were able to look at this model in Denver at the Transwest RV dealership in Frederick. They do have Solis there. I think they still have them actually. So if you're interested in a Solis and you live in the Front Range, you can generally look at them in Transwest in Frederick. We weren't super huge fans of this. Mike didn't like that it had a pop top. He feels like pop tops might leak. I liked it a lot. We originally were considering lithium because all the YouTube videos you watch and everything on van life, and all these people have lithium systems and they tout how great they are. Lithium is great. It's a newer kind of thing that you see. It's really, really expensive to have lithium in vans. It generally adds about $20,000 to the cost of the van. Since we were kind of new, we ultimately decided to not go with lithium, but it was something that we had originally considered. The Roadtrek Zion, it also was in stock in Arizona. Again, we live in Colorado. We originally thought maybe we might go look at them. It does have a lithium and solar, this is the MSRP or list price that we were seeing on the internet at the time, which was probably like beginning of the year, 2021. And the thing about the Roadtrek, which is great, is that it already came with the lithium and solar. They went bankrupt a few years ago, so that's why I think the cost of these is down a little bit, because people aren't super certain if they're going to stay in business. So I think that's a big thing. People didn't want to leave kind of high and dry. But Roadtrek Zion, the SRT model, we really actually liked the look of it. We ultimately decided to go with the Winnebago product just because of the name brand and the proximity to where we live. But if you're looking at maybe doing a lower cost one and you want to take a risk on this company, that's a good one. Obviously the Travato. We originally looked at the GL model, the lithium, because we were really thinking that we needed to have lithium, but we ultimately decided that we really didn't. We did want the 2021 model which is what we got, because it has the designated work area, which is pretty important to me just because sometimes I do want to work from the van if I can. It has the Murphy bed. It also has the front space can also be laid down to be another bed, which we might use when we have the dogs with us. So ultimately, you guys know I chose the Travato. And then the other one that we really liked was the Nova. That is a Coachmen product. We also looked at the Beyond. For a long time, we thought the Beyond was really going to be the one we ended up with. And I'll tell you a story about why we did not end up with the Beyond. But the Nova, you can get the lithium Li3. That's what Coachmen calls their lithium system. It didn't have a designated work area. We did actually look at a Nova in Colorado Springs at a small dealership. I think it was called Van City. They had it in stock. I think it's a little bit more readily available than the Beyond was. Again, this is on a Dodge ProMaster. We wanted to get the Beyond because it was on the Ford. We really like Ford products. But this is kind of just my little red book of stuff that we decided, when we were doing things. This is a great thing if you are thinking about buying an RV or anything. Just keep a little book like this. It will help you kind of make a decision on what you want to do. And then when you get it, we've been adding stuff, things we need, lists of stuff, supplies for the van, etc. This is a brochure that we got on the Travato when we went and looked. The dealerships have these brochures and they will give them to you. They're really nice to keep if you ever just really want to quickly look up the specs of the van you want to get or the RV you want to get. We really liked looking on these instead of always looking at the internet because they change the specs depending on the year. So a lot of times when you're picking these up, it's the current model year at the dealer. So it's just nice to have the specs all in one place. So this is the 59G. This is the 2021, which we ended up getting, and the specs on it. And also, again, gross vehicle weight, what the height is, the width is. This is really important for your space. Make sure that you have a place to park whatever van or RV you get. We live in the city. You're not allowed to park things that are longer than 22 feet long in the city. So we needed to make sure that we could park on the street in front of our house. So again, very important. If you have like an HOA, something like that, a lot of HOAs consider vans RVs. So they don't allow you to park them on the street. Things to think about when you are choosing a van. We also got this brochure on the Beyond. Again, really love Ford products. This is an all-wheel drive product as well. There just wasn't any stock anywhere. Oh, it was Van City RV. That's where we went in Colorado Springs. And the problem with the Coachmen is that we didn't know when it was going to be available and we didn't want to wait. We wanted to enjoy our summer. And I think that's the problem with a lot of people when you're making your decision. If you're willing to wait, 6, 8, 10, 12 months for an RV, then definitely get this very specific one you want. The thing is we couldn't even get in this vehicle to get a feeling for what it felt like or anything like that. So I went on a bunch of Facebook groups and I did a bunch of research online. I ultimately really love the Coachmen Beyond, but we could get a Travato. We drove the Travato. We decided that was the product for us. But you can stop by dealers. You can get the specs on these. Kind of figure out what works best for you. In this case, as you guys know, we ended up with the Travato. Very happy with our decision so far, and that's been very rewarding. So ultimately, we decided on the Travato, like I just said, and it's really been a good experience so far for us. Everything's, knock on wood, worked. There's been a few things that we do need to go back to the dealership. Some important things to think about when you are going to buy a van, RV, whatever, is your proximity to the dealership. We went to Transwest in Frederick. They don't sell the Travato. They do sell the Solis. So we went to Transwest in Grand Junction to get the Travato. They do service the Travato on the Front Range here in Frederick, so that was a big plus for us. We didn't want to have to get an RV or a van and have to drive to Iowa or California or Arizona to get it serviced or things fixed. Right now there's a huge backlog of service requests for fixing things in RVs, and a lot of dealerships aren't taking customers if they didn't purchase the vehicles from that dealership. So really something to keep in mind. You can watch a ton of videos about it on YouTube, but that's probably the number one reason we wanted to buy local. It probably cost us a little bit more in the long run, because I did a lot of price comparisons on what people were actually buying it for. If you own a Travato, or if you want to buy a Travato, there is a Facebook group. I'll put the link below to the group, or what it's called at least, so you can look it up on Facebook. And it's a huge resource. They tell you what people bought their Travatos for, what the price in the market is, the different specs, things to expect. Really important when you're deciding to buy a van. Find the Facebook group that has the information for the van you want. Ask to become a member and ask those people questions, because they have the vehicles already. They know the vehicles, or travel trailers even, or whatever you're getting for RV, and get to know those people, because they will help you make your decision. And ultimately, that was another resource we used, because we got onto the Coachmen, and we also got onto the Travato board, and we got onto the Nova board. And we really decided and narrowed it down based on people's experiences and how they are using the vans, with how Mike and I live and how we want to experience the van. So that's kind of a little video about how we decided what we wanted to do and how we decided on the van that we bought. I know it's not the most detailed, but it's kind of our journey, and that's exactly why I created this channel, was to tell you stories about my journey and how I research things. So if you have questions, please let me know below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.